Hello everybody. So the point of this video is to make a really boring video. I'm going to be honest. So I'm in my garage. Today is 7x2 deadlift. I just finished the general warm-up, 6 minutes of getting the heart rate up, some hip and back extensions, some broad jumps, some stiff leg deadlifts, things like that. That took about 15 minutes. So now I'm going to slowly start building up my warm-up sets. That'll take whatever time it takes, and then I'll get into my 7 doubles. And again, the point of this video is to show how actually long it takes, in my humble opinion, to do a heavy day properly. Why it's tough to fit something else into an hour. Why at Linchpin we like to give heavy days the respect that they deserve. And it'll just be boring. But that's putting in the work. And I have no idea what I'll lift today, so we'll be along for the ride. I'm thinking my one rep is around 450, so we've got 7 doubles. 70%, I wrote it down, would be 315. 85% would be 382. But of course, lifting charts don't know what I did yesterday. Lifting charts don't know how I slept. Lifting charts don't know how I've been eating. Lifting charts don't know anything else in the world about what's going on in my life. So, they're only so useful. Let me straighten this out a little bit. Okay. So, we'll see what happens. I will slowly warm up and see how I feel, and it's a boring heavy day, but those are good heavy days. This is just 1:35, so 15 minutes, 18 minutes in now to the hour, and just doing my first kind of warm-up set. 1:35, boring. So like I said, this isn't going to get any more exciting. So what I usually do, that was 135, did it for about 5 reps. Then I write down on the dry erase board the weight, how many reps I did, and the time that it's set on the clock, so that I can make sure I actually give myself enough rest and I don't go back too soon to the barbell. And we just keep playing this game, this amazing game. So I went from 135 to 185, and I feel like I could lift it, obviously, for a couple reps, but it's only been 1 minute and 30 seconds. So I'm going to rest 2 minutes. So that's why heavy days are so boring. Effective and necessary, but done properly, they're pretty boring. The workout is 7x2 deadlift. Okay, here we go, another warm-up set. So just in keeping with the boring theme, I've worked my way up to 225. I still have about another 40 seconds to rest because I'm taking 2 minutes rest between each one of these warm-up sets. We're 23 minutes and 30 seconds into what would have been a 1-hour class, and I'm nowhere near starting my 7x2 deadlift. So I'm actually taking my time, warming up properly, and, you know, all that good stuff. Let's see. Plenty of time to talk, because it's boring. Archetype athlete. Is there a theory as to what percentage one should start for such a day, a heavy day? Yes, and so like for today on the private track, I wrote down super fitness robot percentage, if you will, and then a more likely percentage. And so, let's see, how much time do I have left? And so the super fitness would be if I held 85% of my 1 rep across all of these. I don't know if it's going to be that kind of a day. More likely was 70% or higher. So 70% would be 315. So I wouldn't want to start counting my 7 sets of 2 until personally I get to about somewhere between 70 and 80% is what I would like. But that's what the lifting chart says. But like I said earlier, the lifting chart doesn't know how I slept last night and other stresses in my life. So I'm also a big fan of just seeing how I feel. So this is another warm-up set. Got 275 on the bar, pull it a few times, see how it feels. And based upon how my body feels and what the lifting chart says, then I'll start to make my decision as to when that first double should take place. Get a sip of water. You know, isn't it a great day in the gym when you have enough time to take a sip of water? Okay. So that's 315 on the bar there. Still warming up. We'll see how this feels. So this would be 70% if I think my 1 rep's around 450. So we'll see how it feels. If it feels really heavy, I might count it as my first double. If I feel like I'm still feeling pretty good, then I won't count it as my first double. But I'm resting at least 2 minutes between each one of these warm-up sets. 28 minutes and 35 seconds have gone by into what would have been an hour class. Still haven't pulled my first heavy double. 44 years old, doing big jumps in weight with improper warm-up and small rest is a terrible recipe that I don't want to have any part of. I probably got away with it when I was younger. If you're still in that phase of your life, good on you for getting away with it, but you won't forever. I would recommend you come over to the dark side sooner rather than later, before something bad happens. $315 for a double, felt okay. I certainly noticed that there was weight on the bar, but I'm not ready to count that yet as one of my doubles, even though that would be 70%, but I'm not there yet. So I put another 20 pounds on, will be a 335. I'm hoping that that feels okay as well. And then I'd like to then throw the 25s on and maybe have my first double be at 365 and either stay there or creep, we'll see. Rogue Jr. couldn't do a 2-pound lift without any music. I feel the same way. I wish I had some music on, but it seems like every time I turn it on, Instagram shuts it down for some sort of violation. I don't know. So I'm suffering for your enjoyment of this amazingly boring but hopefully effective video. So let's see, what time? So in case you missed it, after every time I just write down what my warm-up weight was, how many reps I did, and the time on the clock, so I can make sure I rest at least a couple minutes between each. It's been right at 2 minutes, but I feel like resting just a little bit more. This is again why things take time. So we're at 32 minutes into what would be a 1-hour class, and I have yet to do my first double, which is why heavy days take time, in my humble opinion, to do them right. All right, that was 335 for double. Felt pretty good. 365 is on there right now. And I think I'm going to count this as my first double if 365 goes up pretty well. And then I would like to creep in maybe 20-pound jumps for a while anyway. That'll get old fast. And then think and just see how it goes. But this should be 365. This is probably right around 80% of my one rep. So probably a good neighborhood to start the 7 doubles in. And when I actually do the 7 doubles, I'll probably rest 3 minutes between each one of those lifts. So if there's 7 lifts, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's like 5 or 6 rest periods in there of 3 minutes. So there's 15 to 18 minutes of rest once I actually get to the 7 doubles. So once again, it just takes a while to do these days. We're 35 minutes in right now, and this will probably be my first actual working set now that I think the warm-up sets are over. I've got about another 45 seconds of rest, which is why I always write down my numbers there, or else, the CrossFitter in us all wants to go back too quickly. So I'm going to rest 3 minutes before I hit this, so I've got another 30 seconds. So that was 365, counting that as my first double, and it felt heavy. Safe and fine, but heavy, which is good. It's not scientific, but I always want my first actual working set to be challenging, yet safe and appropriate, and I felt that that was. So, grip. I do just double overhand, no hook grip for as long as I can. And then when the grip becomes the limiting factor, I switch to a mixed grip. So I'm mixed gripping now for sure. So I went from 365 to 385, taking my 3 minutes rest between each. I'm sure somebody will probably ask about belt. I don't wear a belt. Belts are fantastic. I just never wore one. And so now when I have one on, it feels more awkward and cumbersome than helpful. So I've just learned personally to lift without one, but most people love a belt, so you should use a belt if you love a belt for sure. All right, let's see. Let's see how much time I have left. I've got another minute of rest. See these boring, heavy days? That's why I write down my time. Right to be back lifting. I want to rest 3 minutes, so at 39 minutes and 30 seconds into what would have been a 1-hour class. I'm only on my second set of 7. So these things, they take time. 30 seconds, and then I'm going to go for 385 for a double. Oh, this, 3 is not 385 kilograms, that's for sure. It's 385 pounds. I appreciate the vote of confidence, but it's most certainly pounds. The world's most interesting video continues. So that last one was 385 for a double. It's heavy, no doubt about it, but it still felt good, safe, appropriate. So went up to 405 for my next double. And I'm going to rest at least 3 minutes between the sets now. So I've got probably another 40 seconds to 1 minute of rest. And this will be double number 2. 42 minutes and 30 seconds into what would be the class. Okay. 405 for a double. That felt very heavy. It's a heavy deadlift for some, not a heavy deadlift for others. But for me, that felt heavy. So, might just creep just a hair. Might throw the 2.5s on. I mean, the 2.5s, are they really even there? Right? So maybe that's what I do. I'll put the 2.5s on. Stealing them from our kids' barbells. And again, it's why I write down the times that I did whatever it is, or else I'd probably want to lift again. But it hasn't been 3 minutes, so I've got to make sure my body actually gets the time that it needs to recover to some degree so I can lift heavy again and actually get the benefit out of a heavy day that I'm supposed to do. That's why we say at Linchpin, respect the heavy day. So there's nothing else on the docket today. 7x2 deadlifts. Have a good meal, go home, take a nap, and that's that. And if you do that, good things should happen. This will be double number 4, 46 minutes into the hour. Now, that was 410 for a double. Felt good. Don't get me wrong, for my capacity, it felt quite heavy and very, very, very challenging. But I felt good as far as spine mechanics. I may review the video later on and say something else, but I also have a feeling somebody would let me know if I looked like a Halloween cat. And now here is where I need to keep my ego in check and make appropriate decisions. Because trust me, there is something about the camera that can sometimes make you do something that you shouldn't do because it will look good on camera. And so I might be getting close to that neighborhood. And when I get to that neighborhood, I'm going to drive by it. I'm not going to turn into it. But I'm close to that neighborhood. I might do one at 415, try anyway, and then go back down to 405 for the last couple. And I would think that would be quite a successful day for me personally. So 4, 5. Again, I can't say just how helpful it is to write down the times that I did each lift so I don't rush back to the barbell. All right, so 415 for a double, I was happy with that. And now I just strip those weights off and I'm going to try to do my last two at 405. But I might step down again. I might do this next one at 405, then I might step down to 385 or something like that. We'll see how I feel. And so I've got two doubles left. I've done 5 out of the 7 sets of 2. And I started the clock when I began my general warm-up. Then I had to do my warm-up of the deadlift weights until I finally got to my working sets, resting between each one of those so I could actually lift heavy, relative to me anyway. Again, this is probably a warm-up weight for some people. But for me, it's heavy. And the clock says 53 minutes. So again, it takes a while. It takes a while to go heavy, but I think if you don't, I think far too many people rush their heavy days, try to do a couple other things, wonder why they're not getting strong, and then think that they probably need to do more. And so now they add even more stuff to their plate, where in my opinion I think you need to remove some of the stuff off your plate and allow yourself just to go heavy, to take the time that it takes to do it right, and to go home and be good to go. So picture my son drew from kindergarten. How cool is that? Keeps me motivated in the gym as to why I work out. Work out for the boys, so I can run around with them. I still have another 30 seconds to wait to make it 3 minutes rest between each sets. There's a lot of standing around in these days, isn't there? I am fatigued. I am fatigued. So, I've got one set left. And it's 56 minutes into what would have been an hour, so I'm going to be over an hour by the time I do this last lift, put my weights away, cool down, stretch, and that's that. Jesse, not dropping the bar just because there aren't mats or for the eccentric rep, just curious. Either one's good to go. I mean, either one's going to get you strong for sure. Dropping is fine on the concrete. I personally don't mind that there's no mats. I do like the eccentric loading as well, but also, if you did drop and restart each time, total dead stop deadlifts, those are no joke whatsoever because you need to get all tight again and whatnot, and arguably more challenging. So either one, I would recommend doing both for variance. You know, don't always do one, don't always do the other. Mix them up and hit your body in a different way. Last set. 57 minutes in. Still not ready. Still have to rest a couple minutes here. It's just the world's most exciting Instagram video, isn't it? It's just breathtaking and riveting the entire time. I've got about another 1 minute left before I lift. I'm going to rest 3.5 minutes total because I'm tired. But I was 3 to 3.5 minutes between all of these working sets, and I think 2 minutes between each one of my warm-up sets. Do. Calling it. Done. So, the clock on the wall says 59 minutes and 47 seconds from start to finish, and I haven't put the plates away, and I haven't cooled down, and I haven't stretched. So give the heavy days the respect that they deserve. For those of you that actually watch this entire thing, you're warriors. All right, see you later.